after enduring the backlash from the divine godhead to obtain its power. Lin Ki rode the earth dragon formed from the dragon vein to the battlefield. He used the abyssal magic threefold Luosheng gate, creating a black triangular cage that surrounded Kraken. The three magic formations isolated Kraken from the outside world while black lightning burned its tentacles. However, Kraken quickly counterattacked by curling two of its tentacles into massive spheres and smashing them against the formations, causing one of the three formations to weaken considerably. Lin Ki realized that his current strength was only at the boundless realm, while Kraken was already close to entering the divine realm. If he continued confronting it head-on, the threefold Luosheng gate would soon be broken. To strengthen the seal, Lin Ki cast Dimensional Exile, severing the space around Kraken from the outside world and attempting to send both Kraken and the three magic formations into an unknown dimension. However, Kraken sensed the danger and used the power emanating from its body to disrupt the spatial transfer, causing the exiling spell to fail. Lin Ki then cast the supreme ice magic Eternal Frozen Seal, instantly freezing the entire 3-mile area around Kraken into a gigantic ice pyramid. With three powerful sealing spells layered together, Kraken was finally sealed inside the ice, at least temporarily. Xia Semeng and Kong Chong were shocked by what they witnessed. Xia Semeng sensed divine aura coming from the person who had cast the magic, and it was an unfamiliar divine aura that had never been observed before. She suspected that the mysterious figure was Lin Ki. Kong Chong also could not understand why Lin Ki, who was supposedly the representative of the seraph and the goddess of the night, possessed an aura connected to another god. Xia Semeng became even more excited and wanted to recruit Lin Ki into the Phoenix Squad. But Kong Chong reminded her that they first needed to deal with Kraken, since the sea monster might not have truly been subdued. On the other side, Loki realized that someone had stopped Kraken and was surprised that the Lu Wuwei faction still had such methods hidden away, using divine power to see through the obstacles. Loki spotted Lin Ki. The moment he recognized him, Loki suddenly understood a secret connected to an event from 10 years ago. He remembered that Gaia had once written that person's name on Shiva's grudge. Yet that person had somehow survived until the present. Loki believed that Lin Ki's existence was a miracle that had lasted for 10 years, and suspected that this miracle might already be approaching its limit. Loki became extremely excited, eager to witness the moment when this miracle finally collapsed. Lu Wuwei declared that he would never allow Loki to reach Lin Ki. But Loki merely sneered at him, believing that Lu Wuwei had greatly underestimated the power of the god of trickery. Meanwhile, a mysterious voice repeatedly echoed inside Tu Tiu Nam's mind, urging her to awaken and reminding her that she could never escape from the one who had chosen her. The voice declared that she possessed the power to shatter everything, that she had been asleep for far too long, and that it was time for her to return as the chosen representative and heir of trickery and deception. On the rooftop of the bureau, everyone was focused on Kraken's sealed form in the distance, so no one noticed Tu Tiu Nam. She silently endured the pain before slowly crouching down, breathing heavily, signaling that the mysterious power or consciousness within her was beginning to awaken. After a while, everyone was shocked to realize that Lin Ki had actually managed to stop the giant beast. Wen Qimo and Chen Muya had no idea what had happened to him. But Chen Muya believed that power beyond imagination must inevitably come with an equally unimaginable price. Hong Ying then noticed that Si Xiaonan seemed different. Si Xiaonan suddenly released a terrifying pressure, suppressing every member of Team 136 and sealing their spiritual power. She revealed that she had reached the Klein realm and exposed her true identity. She had never been a night watcher. All of the documents she used to join the team 2 years ago were fake, and the person known as Si Xiaonan had never truly existed. She was actually the agent of the god of trickery, Loki, who had come to Cangnan to uncover the secrets of the city and search for the whereabouts of Shiva's resentment. Si Xiaonan knocked out the entire team and took the sheepskin scroll containing Shiva's resentment from Chen Muya. She then carried the divine artifact away from the top floor and entered the office, where Leng Zan was waiting for her. Si Xiaonan admitted that she had deceived and used everyone, but Leng Zan refused to believe her. He pointed out that if she had truly only intended to exploit them, she would have tried to get closer to everyone instead of deliberately keeping her distance, isolating herself, quietly watching them, and avoiding moments of bonding such as team gatherings and Zhao Kongcheng's funeral. Leng Zan believed that she had behaved this way because she was afraid of becoming emotionally attached. Because during her 2 years in Cangnan, she had genuinely come to love this place. Furious, Xiaonan knocked Leng Zan to the ground with her overwhelming pressure. But still could not bring herself to kill him. Leng Zan continued to insist that he understood her better than anyone else. Regardless of who she had been in the past, during those 2 years in Cangnan, she had truly become Xiaonan of Team 136. The little sister everyone cared about. His words shook her deeply and brought tears to her eyes. When Leng Zan continued trying to stop her, she warned him before severing one of his arms to force him to back down. However, Leng Zan still tried to follow her. Just as Xiaonan was about to strike again, she shattered a small metal box on his chest, causing the photographs inside to scatter through the air like butterflies. She immediately froze when she saw them. The photographs of Team 136 drifted through the air one after another, capturing memories of their days together, having picnics and chatting in the park, welcoming Lin Ki back after graduation, celebrating New Year's Eve together and promising to reunite the following year. They also recorded the aftermath of the Nanda Snake Demon mission, the day Zhao Kongcheng was buried, the first time Xiaonan joined Team 136, and the first mission she completed, when she celebrated with a happy smile. As Xiaonan looked at those memories, she recalled the joyful, happy, and fulfilling days she had spent with the city and her comrades. Unable to hold back her emotions, tears streamed down her face. Although seriously wounded and with blood still at the corner of his mouth, Leng Zan gently embraced her from behind and asked whether bearing everything alone was painful. Xiaonan broke down crying and begged Leng Zan to take her away. He comforted her, promising that no matter what happened from then on, he would bear everything together with her. Xiaonan seriously asked whether he trusted her, and Leng Zan answered without hesitation that he did. She then looked toward the chaotic sky and revealed that she had a very large but extremely dangerous plan. On the rooftop, Chen Muya woke up after the restraints on his mental power were removed and the terrifying pressure disappeared. Remembering what had happened before he lost consciousness, he took out the ancient sheepskin scroll. This time, the scroll released no trace of aura, as if something had completely sealed its presence. Chen Muya noticed an invisible layer covering its surface and immediately recognized it as Xiaonan's Wu Yuan Sha, the same power that had once protected every member of Team 136. He was shocked and wondered if the real Shiva's resentment was still with him. Then what exactly had Xiaonan taken? Outside the city, Lin Ki continued maintaining the seal on Kraken, but the magic had finally reached its limit. Cracks began appearing across the enormous ice pyramid and rapidly spread. Even the 3-layered supreme sealing magic released at the Boundless Realm could no longer suppress Kraken, because the gap between their realms was simply too great. Meanwhile, Sha Sameng and Kong Shang were battling Garm. Despite being covered in injuries, the underworld watchdog only grew more ferocious and was already approaching godhood. Sha Sameng realized they had no time left. If they could not kill Garm quickly, Kraken would also escape, and facing both gigantic beasts at once would leave them with absolutely no chance of victory. Sha Sameng and Kong Shang understood that the moment to stake their lives had finally arrived. Kong Shang had no regrets, because this was their mission. Sha Sameng summoned the entire Phoenix squad and asked whether they were willing to make one final life or death gamble with her. All 8 members agreed and prepared to use their badges for the decisive attack. Soon afterward, the ice pyramid completely collapsed. Kraken broke free from the seal, its enormous tentacles sweeping across the sky as its terrifying roar echoed through the battlefield. Lin Ki knew he had no other choice. He took out his badge and prepared to unleash his final power. But before he could finish, an earth-shaking roar suddenly came from the distance, causing both Garm and Kraken to tremble. Everyone turned toward the horizon and saw a gigantic black hound stepping through the void and charging rapidly out of the city. The moment Lin Ki recognized its appearance, he froze in shock, and disbelief immediately appeared in his eyes. The Phoenix squad watched as Garm was completely overwhelmed by a black hellhound. Kong Shang was astonished by its terrifying strength, while Sha Sameng realized that the creature might be connected to the howling celestial hound from Great Sha mythology. The fact that it could speak Chinese made everyone suspect that the Great Sha myths that had once disappeared might be gradually returning. Meanwhile, Lin Ki was observing the hellhound when Chen Muya appeared and told him that Cangnan had defected, urging him to immediately join the pursuit. However, Lin Ki quickly sensed that something was wrong. The fake Chen Muya suddenly attacked with earth magic and prevented Lin Ki from using spatial magic to escape. The imposter was none other than Loki, the god of cunning. Lin Ki realized that the real captain would never use the words defected to describe Xianxia, but would only say that she had left and would eventually return. Loki mocked the trust Lin Ki placed in his teammates and declared that there was no way he could escape. Lin Ki quickly realized that Loki's true goal was not to kill him immediately, but to lure him away from Cangnan. Remembering Chen Fuzzy's earlier warning, he began to suspect that the fact that he had always been kept within Cangnan was connected to a major secret. Since birth, he had never left the city, and even the night watchman's previous recruit training had deliberately been arranged in Cangnan. Loki claimed that Cangnan was like a prison preventing Lin Ki from seeing the outside world. Lin Ki refused to leave because he considered it his home. However, Loki revealed that he had deceived both Space and Lin Ki himself, causing him to unknowingly leave Cangnan long ago. When Lin Ki looked back, the city behind him had already been replaced by a vast wilderness. Golden lights began drifting out from Cangnan, while the skyscrapers and the entire city gradually faded away before his eyes. Loki stood nearby, laughing loudly, as Lin Ki stood frozen in shock. Watching Cangnan disappear, the Phoenix Squad retrieves its insignia and watches as the Black Hellhound fights Garm. However, this is not really a battle but a one-sided slaughter. Although Garm and Kraken are both beings on the verge of becoming gods, Garm is completely outmatched by the Black Hellhound and is left with 2 bloody bite wounds after only one exchange. Kong Shang is shocked and wonders what kind of creature the Hellhound is, asking whether such a terrifying canine creature exists in known mythology. Sha Semeng explains that there is one possibility, the Howling Celestial Hound, or Hao Tian Quan, from Great Sha mythology. The entire Phoenix Squad is stunned. Kong Shang then remembers that the Hellhound seemed to have spoken Chinese. Although the gods of Great Sha are said to have disappeared, Sha Semeng wonders whether their disappearance might only mean that they will eventually return. Meanwhile, Lin Ki slowly descends from the sky and stares at the Black Hellhound, becoming increasingly suspicious of its identity. He seems to have guessed something, but immediately dismisses the possibility because it appears impossible. At that moment, a figure wearing a dark red cloak approaches him. Lin Ki is surprised to see Captain Chen Muya. Chen Muya urgently tells him that Tu Tiu Nam has betrayed them and fled, ordering Lin Ki to follow him immediately. However, when Chen Muya suddenly uses an earth-based magic formation to trap him, Lin Ki instantly realizes that something is wrong. Dozens of enormous rock hands emerge from the ground and combine into a huge stone sphere, trapping the fake Chen Muya inside. At the same time, Lin Ki immediately attempts to escape through a spatial portal. The stone sphere explodes, releasing a powerful and sinister aura that instantly disrupts his spatial magic and prevents him from escaping. A tall Western man slowly walks out of the shattered rocks and asks how Lin Ki discovered the deception. Lin Ki calmly explains that the real Chen Muya would never use the words betrayed or fled to describe one of his own teammates. If Tu Tiu Nam truly left, Chen Muya would simply say that she had left and would eventually return. The man then reveals himself as Loki, the god of trickery. Lin Ki realizes that his suspicions were correct. From the moment the fake Chen Muya appeared, he had already sensed that the situation was dangerous. He tried to use the prophecy spell to determine the man's identity but could not see through him, proving that the opponent was far beyond his current level. Therefore, Lin Ki had attempted to escape the moment the earth magic was activated. Lin Ki soon realizes that Loki's real objective is not to kill him immediately but to lure him outside Cangnan City. Since Loki is a god, he would not need such elaborate deception if his goal were simply to kill Lin Ki. Combined with the warning previously given to him by the teacher of Chen Fu, Lin Ki realizes that leaving Cangnan may trigger something terrible. Loki is surprised that Lin Ki has seen through his plan and asks why he still refuses to leave the city. He describes Cangnan as a prison that restricts Lin Ki and invites him to see the outside world. Lin Ki remains calm on the surface, but his mind begins racing. He recalls that he has never left Cangnan since birth. Even when the Night Watch organized recruit training, the location was deliberately changed to Cangnan. This makes him suspect that the Night Watch and other powerful figures may have deliberately prevented him from leaving the city for some unknown reason. He begins questioning what they are hiding and why Cangnan is so important. Lin Ki simply tells Loki that Cangnan is his home and that he does not want to leave. Loki laughs and points out that Lin Ki has already left. Lin Ki then looks around and realizes that the environment has silently changed. The city has disappeared, replaced by a vast wilderness. Loki explains that, as the god of trickery, deceiving space and deceiving Lin Ki are extremely simple for him. He then directs Lin Ki's attention back toward Cangnan and laughs while telling him to look at how beautiful the city is. Lin Ki turns around in shock and sees countless golden points of light emerging from the city. The skyscrapers and buildings begin fading away one after another, and the entire city gradually disappears before his eyes. Ha Semeng was filled with despair upon realizing that 3 mythical behemoths had already appeared in this world. But Kong Shang noticed that the black hound had come from the direction of the city, suggesting that there might still be a turning point. Sure enough, the hound immediately charged at the sea monster Kraken. The 2 gigantic beasts engaged in a fierce battle. But the black hound completely overwhelmed Kraken. It used its claws to sever several tentacles, unleashed lightning that paralyzed Kraken, then tore into its flesh and finally ripped its head off. The behemoth, which was on the verge of reaching the Klein realm, was killed with ease. Even more astonishingly, the hound could speak human language and even spoke Chinese, mocking Kraken as the flesh of a worthless foreign god. After killing Kraken, it turned its attention to Garm and intimidated him so thoroughly that Garm instinctively retreated. Lin Ki noticed that the hound looked remarkably similar to Xiao Hailai, sharing the same black fur, facial wrinkles, and scar on its temple. The only differences were its bloodthirsty eyes and overwhelming aura. Realizing this, Lin Ki put away his badge, knowing that he no longer needed to intervene. Elsewhere, Loki confirmed that the item he wanted had been obtained by Si Xiaonan. Si Xiaonan handed him the scroll containing Shiva's grudge, leaving Lu Wuwei visibly solemn. Loki praised Si Xiaonan and became wary of Lang Zhan. But after confirming that Lang Zhan was Si Xiaonan's follower through their soul contract, he accepted his presence while reminding her that the fewer people acting with them, the better. Loki put Shiva's grudge away and taunted Lu Wuwei, declaring that the item was destined to belong to him. Lu Wuwei suddenly rushed forward and attempted to touch Loki, but Loki transformed into numerous green venomous snakes and escaped. Loki quickly saw through Lu Wuwei's ability. By touching an object, he could read its timeline and send it back to any point in its past. It was through this ability that Lu Wuwei had previously sent explosives back to the moment Loki's clones were first created, erasing their existence from the past. Loki referred to him as a time-reversing rider and decided not to let Lu Wuwei touch him. After obtaining Shiva's grudge, Loki prepared to leave, but before departing, his attention fell upon Lin Ki in the distance, and he decided to deal with the young man first. Thuong Nam City begins to disappear. Buildings, roads, streetlights, vegetation, shops, and all the familiar landmarks turn into golden light and vanish like a dream. Around 90% of the city's residents also begin to disappear. Yet those who are fading away seem to suddenly remember the truth, calmly smiling and saying their farewells to their loved ones. Before disappearing, one mother tells her daughter Tianxian that the happiest thing in the past 10 years was having her by her side, then peacefully accepts that the miracle has finally come to an end. While Chen Fuzzy is fighting, his disciple suddenly reports that the city is disappearing. Chen Fuzzy realizes that this day has finally arrived, because Thuong Nam was never supposed to exist in the first place. 10 years ago, Zeus predicted that an extremely powerful god slayer would appear in Thuong Nam. So he sent Gaia, the mother of the earth, together with several Norse evil gods to attack Great Shah in an attempt to eliminate him. Gaia used the divine ruin Shiva's grudge and wrote the name Thuong Nam on a sheepskin scroll, causing the entire city and its millions of residents to be erased from the world without leaving a single trace. However, 7-year-old Lin Ki mysteriously survived, possibly because 3 fragments of divine artifacts had been buried beneath his old house: a silver bracelet, a broken crystal ball, and a strange ring. Later, Michael, the king of angels, chose Lin Ki as his representative, infused his body with an enormous amount of divine power, and activated a divine ruin covering the entire city called the Mortal Divine Realm. Without even realizing it, Lin Ki used this divine power to reconstruct Thuong Nam and restore the people who had originally been erased, allowing the entire city to exist for another 10 years. Lin Ki himself became the soul and source of Thuong Nam's existence, while the divine power left behind by Michael was only enough to sustain the divine realm for 10 years. Therefore, even without the current incident, Thuong Nam would have disappeared about half a month later. During those 10 years, however, the restored residents truly lived, married, had children, and were even able to leave Thuong Nam. The children they gave birth to were no longer dependent on the mortal divine realm, meaning they could survive even after the divine realm disappeared. Thus, the 10 years of Thuong Nam's existence became a period in which their bloodline could continue. If Shiva's grudge represents destruction, then the mortal divine realm represents miracle. The fact that Thuong Nam existed for 10 years was itself the greatest miracle, created solely because of Lin Ki. The scholar boy realizes that the mortal divine realm is the mortal world within the divine kingdom, while Lin Ki is the soul of Cangnan. Therefore, the higher-ups of the Night Watchers have been secretly monitoring and protecting him. Because if Lin Ki leaves Cangnan, the city will lose its soul and disappear. Having Lin Ki join the Night Watchers was actually part of the higher-ups' plan. The divine power Michael infused into his body could only sustain Cangnan for 10 years, after which the city would still have to disappear. Before that day arrived, the Night Watchers wanted Lin Ki to become familiar with the Forbidden Ruins, the mysterious world, and the gods, preventing him from being deceived by the ancient god church and becoming an evil god after losing the mortal divine realm. Chen Fuzzy's trip to Cangnan was actually meant to assess Lin Ki's mental state and determine whether he could accept the reality that the city would be destroyed. However, the outer gods caused Cangnan to disappear earlier than expected. Fortunately, the Night Watchers had been preparing a contingency plan for this moment for many years. As Cangnan began to vanish, the people who had lived there for 10 years gradually turned into golden light and disappeared, while those who had arrived later were unaffected. Everyone soon realized that only those who had been in Cangnan at the exact moment the city was erased 10 years ago would disappear this time. Chen Muya was the only one among them who had remained in Cangnan for the entire 10 years. So his body began transforming into light. He revealed that 10 years earlier, he had received orders from Shangjing to travel to Cangnan and find the person from Zeus's prophecy who could break the divine authority. However, during the Borderlands Divine War, Gaia directly erased the entire city of Cangnan in order to seize Shiva's resentment, and Chen Muya happened to be inside the city at the time. Thanks to Lin Ki, he survived and later learned the entire truth. Chen Muya voluntarily remained in Cangnan, concealed Shiva's resentment, and silently protected the city for 10 years. Before disappearing, he handed Shiva's resentment to Hong Yang, confirming that Tu Nam had not taken it and was not a traitor. He also asked everyone to thank Lin Ki if they met him again, because Lin Ki had given him, his son, and everyone in Cangnan a miracle. In the end, Chen Muya completely transformed into golden specks of light, merging with a radiant stream rising from the entire city and ascending into the sky. After guarding Cangnan for 10 years, he finally departed peacefully, without a single regret. In the old district of Cangnan City, Yang Jin shared a meal with his mother in their familiar little home. Despite the uneasy atmosphere hanging over them, he had been standing alone on the balcony for a long time, lost in thought, until his mother called him several times before he finally returned to the table. During the meal, Yang Jin served food to his mother and asked whether she had ever regretted spending decades raising him and his brother through a life of hardship. His mother simply smiled and said that having 2 sensible sons was already enough to make her happy. Although their life had been difficult and their house was old, she still felt most at peace there, asking only that her sons come home and visit her often in the future. Yang Jin then expressed his hope that once everything was over and his brother returned, their family could continue living together in this old house. However, at that moment, golden specks of light suddenly began appearing on his mother's body. She gradually realized that she was about to leave and asked Yang Jin whether she was going to disappear. He tried to comfort her, but could no longer hold back his tears. Hugging his mother, Yang Jin apologized bitterly, explaining that 10 years ago, the great Sha gods had still been trapped in reincarnation and had been unable to arrive in time to stop the tragedy or save the millions of people in Cangnan, including his own mother. After hearing his confession, his mother gradually understood Yang Jin's true identity. Rather than blaming him, she gently wiped away his tears. Yang Jin then knelt before her and, on behalf of the gods of Great Sha, apologized to all the people of Cangnan who had perished, admitting that they had arrived too late. His mother helped him stand and embraced him, telling him that as long as he had returned, that was enough. Yang Jin then revealed that they still had a chance to save everyone. He took out the soul-seizing bag, a treasure belonging to the heavenly venerable that could contain the souls of everyone who had died in the city. Since the divine realm had collapsed, the souls remaining in the mortal world were once again being separated. Yang Jin planned to collect all of them inside the soul-seizing bag and wait until the heavenly venerable reconstructed their bodies before returning their souls, allowing Cangnan to reappear in the world. His mother trusted him and agreed to enter the bag. Before completely transforming into golden points of light, she gently touched Yang Jin's face one last time and told him to take care of himself and his brother. Yang Jin firmly assured her that his brother would be safe. After his mother disappeared, her final words lingered in the air like a promise. She would wait for them to come home. Yang Jin stood by the window, opened the soul-seizing bag, and shouted for the souls to return. A vast golden torrent immediately surged into the bag, carrying the souls of all the people of Cangnan with it. After collecting them all, he silently tied the bag shut, looked at the now empty home for a long moment, and walked outside. Na Tra was waiting at the door and wanted to accompany him. Yang Jin warned that Na Tra's strength had not yet fully recovered and following him now would be no different from seeking death. Na Tra replied that Yang Jin would also be risking death by going alone. Although Yang Jin had recovered more completely than any of the other great Sha gods, he still might not be able to defeat a fully restored outer god. Yang Jin remained determined, saying that he still possessed a century of reincarnation power and was willing to consume his divine essence if necessary. As the Erlang god of Great Sha, he intended to make the most direct and shocking declaration possible to the world. After disappearing for 100 years, the gods of Great Sha had returned. He told Na Tra and the other gods to continue recovering their strength, because they would have to protect the nation in the future. Yang Jin then whistled, summoning Little Blackie. The terrifying black hound came rushing through the air, still covered in the blood of the two giant beasts it had just defeated. Radiating an overwhelming aura, Yang Jin gently stroked its head before summoning the three-pointed double-edged spear, its blade surrounded by silver lightning. Holding the weapon, he stepped toward the chaotic thunderclouds and advanced with 7 successive steps. On the first step, his realm reached Zan, on the second, Kai, the third brought him to Chuan, the fourth to Hai, the fifth to Boundless, the sixth to Klein, and with the 7th step, Yang Jin officially became a god. Terrifying divine pressure erupted from his body. Silver lightning surrounded him, and the three-pointed double-edged spear radiated an overwhelming might. A mysterious divine eye slowly opened between his brows. Standing amid the thunder with the howling celestial hound beside him, Yang Jin looked down at Little Blackie and calmly said, "Howling celestial, let's go. We are going god-slaying."